Flagler. And he actually died in 1913, but before that he built further south in Florida to like West Palm Beach area, and people kind of realized, because they would be staying here during the winter months, they realized it actually kind of gets a little chilly here in St. Augustine during December, January, February, so they would go further south. And also during that time people started having their own, like owning their own cars, so they didn't have to take the railroads, which was also owned by Flagler. So it initially made the first railroad to go to the Keys, so people would go further south to go there. The other thing was that there's the Great Depression, so people weren't able to stay at these hotels anymore. But this part of the museum is in today. It was called the casino, which just meant entertainment center. So it had the swimming pool, it had spa level, bicycle academy. Actually, in the Victorian era, you needed a license to ride a bicycle, just like you get a driver's license. So you take classes here and then get your bicycle license. And there were regular bicycles, not the ones with like the big wheel or anything. But the hotel closed in about 1931, and then in 1945 or 1946, a man named Lightener saw the building and decided to buy it. So he was a publisher in Chicago, and he loved collecting. He had a magazine called Hobbies, magazine for collectors, and he would go to different estate sales during the Great Depression and just buy everything that they owned, and in turn also collected. So for example, in our storage we have about 7,000 salt and pepper shakers, and that's not because he bought all 7,000, he just collect on food collections. So that's why we have things like, we also don't accept donations. So we have a lion that was donated to us from a local hotel, but owned or given to Winston Churchill. And then we have all of these musical instruments. There's only one of that I know that 100% that it was donated, and it was donated fairly recently, and that was the Stella. Everything else is original collection. 80 to 85% of what you see was owned by Lightener. And he saw the building with it vacant. He actually bought it for only about $150,000. He only paid $125,000 because the residents saved up for him so he can buy the place, so it wouldn't be torn down. Yeah. So he opened the museum 2 years later, because it took him the 2 years to bring everything down here from Chicago, and he died 2 years later. But still here. The museum first opened in the front part of the building, and then we moved back here in the 60s when the city of St. Augustine moved in there. And Lightener is actually buried out in the front courtyard. It's not like a fake anything. He's actually like, that's his body. That's in there. Or was in there. It's not like any fake thing. Like he left in his will, buried with his things. So.
What did he do?
He was a publisher in Chicago, and during the Great Depression, he actually didn't put his money in the stock market. So when it crashed, it wasn't that he was like very, very rich. He just was like very, comparatively richer than everybody else who's like down here. But he also would buy failing publications and then like turn them, change them around, kind of like Bar Rescue, and then like reopen them and sell them. He also, Hobbies, the actual magazine, was a conglomeration of other magazines that he made together. There was one that was like, it was weird, it was like a peanut magazine, and there was like a garden magazine, and he decided to kind of collect all those hobbies and make one big Hobbies magazine. So it's still in circulation today. It's called Antiques and Collections now.
Can you tell us anything about the swimming pool?
Yeah,
How close to the original is it?
It's pretty original. All of those walls, and if you've been there yet, but all of the walls and doors weren't there, but everything that's cement was there, and the railing that's around the swimming pool wasn't there. That was actually brought in by Lightener from one of his mansions, because he owned two different ones next to each other, because they had all this stuff. But yeah, all the walls, everything pretty much is original. The floor is original. Where the cafe is was filled in, so that way your stuff doesn't fly off your table when you're trying to eat. Here's a little slam. But when you walk down there, you can feel a slam. So, and the water was sulfur water. At the time that it was built, it was considered the world's largest indoor swimming pool. It was 120 feet long and 50 feet wide, and you could swim underneath where all those doors are now. And back there was where the bowling alley was too, kind of behind there, and storage for archery and the bicycles. It was spring. It was sulfur water, but it was spring water, like it was like from an artesian well. So it was about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was always like constantly flowing. So it was like always fresh water, even though it kind of smelled like sulfur, not too much. But the ceiling was glass. I don't know if you saw it. There's I think a picture on the mezzanine level, but I didn't include it. But the ceiling was glass, and they had kind of panels like on the ceiling here that on the outer panels you could crank and then open up so it let fresh air in. But it also provided a nice light source too, and it was great because the ballroom. I think would be great. I wasn't alive back then, but the ballroom is a little right on top of it. So during the day you can use it as a lounge area, and then at night it would be the dance floor. But you'd also see the stars through the ceiling too. So. Cool. But at the time, men and women didn't swim at the same time until like the 20s, and then they were kind of like, it's the 20s, I don't care. We'll swim together. So they swam in like those wool bathing suits too, so it wasn't fun. Wasn't jealous. So this first instrument I'll be playing for you is called the Nickelodeon. This is the youngest instrument that we have actually. It's made in about 1926, 1930s.